Is that good though? It shouldn't kick me anymore.
I think it might. I don't know because this is the first time that has done it, and a person has turned on their camera.
All right, so here's my
Okay,
argument. I'm gonna
I'll
give you a
just do
different one.
this.
Okay,
I'll keep my camera on. But yeah, go ahead, Goey.
I'm gonna give you a different one. I gotta remember. I'll try to remember all of it. Okay, so premise one: if the PSR is true, then something is trivial. Okay. Premise two: the PSR is true. Three: something is trivial. Four: if something is trivial, then trivialism is true. Five: trivialism is true. Six: if trivialism is true, then God does not exist.
What's trivialism?
Conclusion: God does not exist.
What's trivialism exactly?
Essentially, the the view that says that like every proposition is true, even contradictions.
Okay, yeah, that's fine if you want to take like a different approach to disprove God. I was just interested in giving why evil disproves God or something.
Yeah. So if trivialism's true, then my conclusion the fact that my argument is sound is going to be true with the one premise argument. So it's just going to follow the one
Okay,
premise.
I get it. Wouldn't that assert values like God existing is true as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole format of like trivialism just seems contradictory, seems illogical.
Well, under your framework, maybe, but I gave you an argument for trivialism.
No, it seems illogical, frankly, because under any format, it denies anything like the three laws of thoughts. It denies the law of non-contradiction.
No, those are true under trivialism.
It's also not true under trivialism.
There you go. Now you're getting it. But the argument I gave you was like, if the PSR is true, then something is trivial. And by trivial, I just mean like it satisfies every predicate. Every predicate's true.
Okay, well,
And if something
if trivial is true, I could agree that if a predicate of it is true, then it probably is sounded to be true. But the difference is that saying that, because it's true in general sense and everything, and the predicates must be true because you're granting it to be true under trivialism viewpoints, doesn't sound right.
Wait, sorry, I got lost there. Say it again.
Yeah, I could agree that if a predicate of something is true, then it's probably logically sounded that this said thing that you're arguing for under this predicate, of course, is probably true, because the predicate probably deems it right. But under trivialism, this predicate is also true simultaneously while the proposition is brought forth.
Yes.
Okay, so that doesn't make sense to me.
And that's true. That doesn't make sense to you.
So
it's also false.
So you agree it's true and not false?
Look, all I was trying to do here is prove that the proposition God does not exist is true.
Yeah, under a logical format that doesn't work.
Well, it's only logical if you reject the argument for trivialism.
That's exactly what
I'm doing. Do you reject the argument that I gave you?
That's exactly what I'm doing. I reject trivialism as a whole.
So, which premise do you reject? Because I gave you a syllogism.
I reject that trivialism is true.
Well, I gave you the argument if the PSR is true, then something is trivial, right?
No, because
PSR is true. No, therefore something is trivial.
No, because under a viewpoint of trivialism, you're saying assert that every proposition, even deniable propositions, are true. I assert that. Yeah, but you can't incline that saying that this one thing is trivial, therefore it's true, and you're going to relate it to trivialism. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, okay, sure. So if something is trivial, like I said, I just mean it satisfies every predicate. So it's going to have a predicate that says it exists in this world where trivialism is true. That's the predicate.
So are you arguing like in a possible world that trivialism is true?
Huh?
Are you arguing like in a possible world like granting modality is true?
I'm actually going to say that the thing that's trivial also has a predicate that it exists in every possible world.
So you think...
And trivialism is true in those worlds as well.
So you think it's necessary?
Exactly.
Okay, why is that? Why do you think trivialism is true? Because it has a predicate of necessary?
Because, so if something is trivial, then it just follows. Because it has that predicate of being in every possible world where trivialism is true in those worlds as well. So, and the PSR shows that something is trivial.
I could agree. Yeah, I could agree that something being trivial, having a predicate, grants the fact that it's true. But I don't agree because it seems like you're trying to put this in like conjunction terms and like correlate it to trivialism being true because it's one predicate of something being trivial is true. I don't agree with that. I don't see how that correlates. Matter of fact, I say that follows like a disconjunction, if anything.
I'm confused.
Do you know what I mean by conjunction or disconjunction?
Disjunction. Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, what are you confused about exactly?
Like how that counters what I said. Because, like,
Because I'll explain it real quick. If you say a predicate is true, therefore a trivial predicate has to be true under a trivial viewpoint, and assert the value that this correlates to trivialism being true because this predicate.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, I don't agree with that.
But look, if it's trivial, then every predicate is true of it. So there's a predicate that's true of it that says it exists in this world and trivialism is true.
Okay,
that's the predicate.
Okay, yeah.
So if that's true, then trivialism is true because it's
no. Under a proposition, for example, this is what I'm referencing by a trivial, and under a predicate of a trivial. I'm referencing that one singularity of a proposition, not granting the fact that trivialism or the whole strand of trivial foundation is true. I'm referencing as, this proposition is trivial because it sounded logically and everything, right? So the predicate of it must be formatted to be logical as well. But I'm not granting the fact that one of these propositions, just because one of these propositions is true and it shares a trivial predicate and everything, that deems the quality of trivialism as a whole being true.
I feel like we're coming to an impasse where we just disagree. Usually people don't challenge that part, though. They'll challenge, like, the first premise.
What's the first premise? The PSR?
If the PSR is true, then trivialism is true.
The PSR referencing what exactly?
The principle of sufficient reasons. It just says, like,
okay.
Everything has, like, a sufficient reason for why it is.
I understand the principle of sufficient. I just didn't understand the abbreviation, I guess. But yeah. I would just, obviously, I think, I don't know if everything, probably most things, I don't know, maybe everything. I'm just, like, neutral in that stance. I don't really have a stance on everything being sufficiently the case.
There's a guy on YouTube named Joe Schmidt. He ran this argument on, like, an April Fool's video. And it's so much fun. I love running it to people because it's so, like, unique. People don't really know what to say to it.
Do you think the PSR is true?
I'm glad you got your saying it goes out, Goey. But this live is going to be concluded here.
Okay.
Mainly because I'm, like, half asleep. So you guys can always come back. And thank you guys for being here. And hope you all have a good Christmas and get some.
Alright, Merry Christmas.
Talk to you when I talk to you. Talk to y'all later as well.
Yeah,
Merry Christmas,
See you guys.